Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Bush. I am Lead Implementation Manager here at Flxpoint. Today, we're going to be talking about invoices and what that does within Flxpoint and the different kinds of things it opens you up to utilizing our software. So let's hop right into it. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them out and I will answer them as they come. So within Flxpoint, you can kind of see we have these different orders, and as you continue to get orders into your system, they're going to come in, fill out this sheet like this, and inside that order lives a couple of things. We have the purchase order, which is the order fulfillment request, which is what you are sending to the supplier or vendor to actually fulfill the product for your customer. We have the fulfillments, that's the shipment tracking information. And then we have the source invoices, which is the invoice from the vendor itself. Even though we have a cost in here, potentially the vendor could be charging you less or more depending on cost fluctuations that are going on. So we want to have that information from the vendor itself. And then the profit. So profit isn't filled out until we add an invoice, until we look at the different things. So there's the most direct way you can do this is to add invoice by invoice. Now this isn't preferred, and I will go through other ways of handling your invoices, but to show you, we have an invoice here for this purchase order. We can say it was invoiced out today. We can just add line items, right? So I can add, we have the product itself, we have the shipping, we have a drop ship fee and tax, right? So if we come in, say tax is $250, maybe we have a drop ship fee of $250 as well, and shipping is $750. Then if I can see the cost of this product was $34.70, and we fulfilled one, and it was this product here. So here's everything we have, and we just have different information. You can plug all this in yourself, and when you're done, you can go ahead and save it, and you'll see now, not only do we have an invoice here, it kind of breaks down the different costs associated with what we were doing with this product. It also shows us whether or not it was profitable. Now, in this particular order, only one of the invoices is in here, so you have to keep in mind that while we're showing profit here of $18.28, there's actually another product here that we did not ship that we aren't accounting for. But you can actually see that the price that we charge the customer for this one product is $49.97. And in this case, the total invoice is $47.20. So we have roughly a $2 profit here. So that's still a profitable item. Now, what that opens you up to is different reports. So you can see your product performance. So we can see here, this is a little bit off because of the fact that we only have that one done. But you get product performance reports. You also get order profitability reports, so you can see your individual orders. So let's see if this will come in for today. It's not going to come in yet. But you get access to the different reports, order profitability, product performance, vendor fulfillment, once all that information is in there. Well, actually, this one won't fill out because this is also for shipments. So we need the shipments to see what has or has not shipped. In this case, we don't have any filled out. So I showed you how to manually do those orders or those invoices. So if we come in here and I go ahead and delete this, I'm going to show you the more preferred methods of doing this. So under your source, in this case, the source for this test product, this is a test account. It's just called source 2. So if I go under my sources, under source 2, I can actually set up a get invoice job. So in this case, when I'm going through, we can set it up through a myriad of different ways, right? So this is a manual file here. There's just some private connections that I can pull invoices from. If someone's working, if you're connected through our API, someone's working with your API key that you've given them, they can provide you invoices like that. But the most common would be that you just get an invoice file, whether it be from an email, an FTP, a Google Sheets file, or just a manual upload. A lot of times a vendor will allow you to log into their portal and just download your invoices for the month or for the year, for whatever time date you choose. So you can just manually upload that file if you need. FTP, we allow this to all of our customers. If you have a vendor who will provide you information on an FTP server, ask either support, or if you are working with an implementation manager or customer success manager, ask your contact. You can get an FTP created for you. We do pay for this service. It's not hosted on our servers, but we do have FTPs available. So if you have a vendor or supplier that will give you information on an FTP, and you've been doing a manual process, reach out, let us know. We will set you up with an FTP so that you can automate that. But in this case, I'm going to go through and do a manual file, which is already a connection for here. You're going to choose the type of file. I know it's a CSV. I've already created my CSV here with all the information from what we just did, right? So this is the same exact purchase order. All the same exact information that I just manually inputted is here within the spreadsheet. So it's a CSV file. It's a file with headers, advanced settings down here if you need them. But for the most part, if you're working with the CSV, you're not going to need all of this. The only thing I will give everyone a little note: if the columns, or if any of your data points contain these hash marks or pound signs, whatever you want to call them, number signs, hashtags, whatever you refer to this as, this will throw off a delimiter in some cases. So if you do have these in the headers, you may want to come in and actually just turn this setting on, and that's going to treat anything that begins with a pound sign. If it has a line that begins with that, it will throw it off if this setting is not on. So it doesn't really matter in the case that I showed you, but if I went like this, and the hashtag was there, the pound sign was there, it would throw everything off. So if you're working with those, or you see those in your spreadsheets, might just be better to go ahead and turn that setting on. That's the only advanced setting I'll give you a warning about. The other ones usually won't come up, and if they do, support or your CSM or IM will be able to help you out with that. Now from there, you're going to take the spreadsheet. Now let's imagine that I've downloaded this from my supplier's website, and this is how it's always going to come. And this isn't a spreadsheet that I manually made 10 minutes before this call, but I actually downloaded this from a vendor. Now, if I know that the vendor is always going to provide me these information points just as they are here, I will come in, and I've already set up this mapping template, but you'll come in and you'll set up a mapping template against the different invoice data points that your vendor provides you. Some things it might not give you, like if there's no such thing as another cost for your vendor, if they don't do a handling fee or anything like that, you can just say don't map. Maybe they don't actually give you a tax. Maybe you don't pay tax, so you don't map that. Maybe there's no drop ship fee, right? So you can just don't map that. So all of these little data points come and go as the information that is provided to you fits. But you just want to make sure that you come through, and just like any other mapping template on Flxpoint, you want to make sure the headers match the information inside the mapping template. And then you would go through, fill everything out, and go ahead, confirm that it's correct, right? That this spreadsheet doesn't give me the title of the product, so I'm not going to upload it in there. Everything else is, so I'm going to make sure that's saved. And then I'm actually just going to go ahead and run that manual file right here. So I'm going to open this file up in Flxpoint and run it. And once we go through there, once that job actually runs, we'll see in this order that same exact invoice that I just manually inputted is actually going to come in and be loaded into here. Now, when you get into the point where you have multiple orders, multiple invoices flowing, obviously setting it up that way is going to be a lot more beneficial to you than going through and manually inputting. I've had plenty of customers who, maybe they only sell a couple of products from one specific supplier, and they manually input those. That's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. But if you're going through and you're trying to manually update your invoices throughout the day, and you're selling 40, 60 items a day, that's going to eat up, at least an hour of your day. Now, if that's the case, I would really urge people down the path of finding a spreadsheet solution to your invoices. Because if you're looking to get things like reports, and you're looking to get profit reports and understand which products are succeeding for you, which products are failing for you. The best way to do that is to have all the data and to look at all the data within, if you're utilizing Flxpoint as your main source of data, it just makes more sense to have this in here. So I'm going to give a little bit of a pause and see if we have any questions for that while that job runs. Does anyone have any questions? All right, we'll continue. No questions as of yet. This job has not completed. So as I mentioned, the best way to handle this is going to be through an automated way. Now, depending on who your supplier is, there's going to be different options, and we can help you come with a plan to help you automate this. But really, at the end of the day, the data that we need from the supplier is as simple as, we need the purchase order to match what we're sending them. This number absolutely has to match. That's what we're looking against, right? If you want a breakdown of how your SKUs are performing, we need the SKU to be correct. Now, in some cases, you might have a SKU prefix that you don't send out to the supplier, or the supplier comes in, they know that, hey, this is product 2642189. They might give you back that number that they utilize. If the TE in this case is a SKU prefix that the vendor doesn't use, they might just toss that out and it might not come back to you in their reports. If you notice something like that, you'll want to make sure that we utilize a rule, which we can do, right? So if I go into the mapping template and I say, for the SKU, I can create a rule that adds that. We can add that SKU prefix back, right? So if they're taking off the TE, I can just prefix with TE, and we'll just go 345. And now when I import, even though their file does not have the TE, I've now manually added that through a system rule inside of Flxpoint. And that will allow you to get the individual product profitability reports so that you can do breakdowns of how well specific products are performing. If that number isn't there, that will not come through. So you want to make sure that this number matches what you have inside your Flxpoint account. So this here should be the same here. If for whatever reason they are not the same, we want to make sure we understand why so that we can fix all of that for you. So beyond having just the purchase order and the SKU number for sake of reporting, really the only other big thing you're going to need, absolutely have to have, is the total. We can work with just the total if that's all the information they give you. But like you saw, we can also work with a breakdown of that information should we also receive that. So we have the ability to add all the different line items that come in the invoice as well, whether it be a fee, product, shipping, all of these different things can also be in your line item or in your line items for that invoice. So it could just be, you're going with just the total, and you're just going to associate the total cost of the product. It's just going to be that, and that's it. And it's going to be a straight, was this profitable? It's going to look against this number. Well, in this case, it's going to look against this. But if this is the only product, it's going to look at the $49.97 and just go against the total number. But if you get access to more data, certainly better to use data than to not. This will also help you get an understanding of how much are you paying your vendors for shipping? Are there vendors that, if you have product overlap, maybe, one vendor charges you $8 to ship this and the other one charges you $5. So maybe we need to start looking at how we're fulfilling our orders. It's just about getting you more information so that you can run your business more effectively and allow you to maximize your profits on every purchase, not just the occasional purchase, right? So if we can see consistently that one vendor is charging more for shipping and that other vendors are not making up for it in other fees, right? So if one vendor charges you $5 for shipping and the other one charges you $7.50, but the $5 one also charges you $2.50 for drop shipping, well, it's a wash, right? But if he's only charging you the $5 for shipping and that's it, might make more sense to start routing more orders down that path than down the path of having all of that. So let me check on this. Okay, so it's about to come through. Actually, should be in any second now. There it is. So that is the end result of our upload. This is, it looks exactly the same as the one I manually created earlier, but this was done through the spreadsheet. The nice thing is here is just one line, but if we're talking about, you're running a bunch of orders, you've got 100 different orders. That's one easy way to get it done quickly instead of having to go through each individual order and answer them one by one inside of your invoices or inside of Flxpoint, right? Because right now, if I only have that one, I got to go into this one here. It's a different source. I just have to start going through that whole process again. Whereas if you get these spreadsheets or at least the information for the spreadsheets from these different suppliers, you can utilize a spreadsheet, and just utilizing this job here, the Give Invoices job, that you can actually go ahead and get those invoices into your account quickly and efficiently so that you can actually start seeing your profit and loss. Now, in this case, it's a little misleading because we have one shippable and one unshippable item. So this particular item, we'll want to make sure that we know that in total we paid $65, or sorry, that the customer paid us $65. And so far with one of the products, we've paid out $47.20 for that. We are profitable by the amount of $18, but we still have to purchase and ship this product, right? So we can only go with the data that we actually have, and in this case, it's a product that we're not shipping. So it's a little bit wonky and maybe a bad example, but if it's a one-to-one and you have all the data in there for you, so if I put an invoice in on this one, which is the same product, just 3 of them, you would actually be able to see a more accurate profit and loss on that. All right, we'll give another pause for any invoice related questions. That's really the long and short of invoice management inside of Flxpoint. Is there anyone dealing with a particular issue that they want to discuss or get some help with? All right, do we have any questions outside of invoices, any Flxpoint related questions that people want to get answered here today before we sign off? Oh, here we go. What if the channel that an order is sold to, there's a flat fee of 5%? Is there a way to automate this when importing? So it's a flat fee of 5% on the total. Of course, Jordan coming in with a difficult question. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate it. So if it's a flat 5% of the cost of the product, right? So long as you know which field that is coming from, you can absolutely do that. So if it's a 5% fee on the cost of the product, right? I can come up here to the fee. I can say set to empty, and I can create a rule that is utilizing Flxpoint. I would just tell it to set fee. So then I would just go against the column. What is it? Cost per unit, I believe is what that column header was. Or actually, we can just always run this. Incoming value is going to be cost per unit. And we're going to want to, oh man, we might not be able to actually do this because the number might not be in there. You may have stumped me here, Jordan. So that one might not be possible, or I might not be thinking of the right way of going through this. But if it's a flat number and you're generating the number, in most cases, we'll have a way to solve that. But in this case, it may not be possible because the information isn't in the system yet for us to go against. I might have to follow up with you on that, Jordan. I will reach out to you and see if I can get an answer for that. But I don't know if there's a way for us to take that in there and modify it. I don't think tier is going to be the way to go. Actually, oh, there we go. I got you, Jordan. I got you. So in this case, I'm going to set. All right, I can solve this. So if the 5% is on the per unit cost, I'm going to go to the fee, set it to the per unit cost, and I'm also going to add a rule to 5% per unit fee, and we're going to make this a conditional or a tier, right? And in this case, I'm going to map the incoming column value, and I'm going to do a percentage change. I'm going to add tier. In this case, I know it's going to be on all products, so I'm just going to say 0 to $10 million, whatever it is, minus 95%. So it's not going to let me test it, will it? No. Oh, it will. Okay, so incoming value is going to be 100. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it like that. But what this should do in the end, oh, that is not my rule. Did my rule not save? How do we invoice or handle? Okay, that's a good question. I will get that as well. So percentage change. I was sworn I saved this, so make sure. Well, this looks like a completely, oh, that's only string-based rules. Showing only number-based rules. So I can add it here. Am I not on? I'm on the fee cost. So for some reason, this is expecting, the fee one is expecting rules. So this is an issue with the mapping template, but yes, we should be able to do this. I will make sure that I have this sent to the escalation team to fix this, because we should be able to add that tier rule in and modify this by the 95%, so that you can get a flat 5% on the cost. So we should be able to do this. In this case, you'd be able to do it in another field that is rightfully expecting to be numbers, but some of these look like they're actually looking for string-based rules. So I will have that checked out, but the answer is we should be able to do that if a vendor is charging you a flat 5%. Carrie, how do we do? So how do we handle invoices that are sent via email by the vendor, the body of an email, or in PDF format? There's a couple of ways that we can assist you with that. There's a service that we work with called ChimpKey, and what they do is they actually provide a service where they will read a PDF and map out the information within the PDF into a CSV. So if you have a vendor who will only send you information in a PDF or in the body of an email, if those are the only options you have, I would talk to, if you have an IM or you have a CSM assigned to, I would talk to them. If not, I would ask support about looking into ChimpKey, because essentially we partner with another company. What they do is they will read that PDF, they will map it out. There is a cost associated with this service, but what they will do is they will take in the PDFs that your supplier provides you, and they'll map it out into an Excel sheet that they can then send to Flxpoint, and we could then run against you. So it is a little bit more difficult if they're only providing you that information in PDF format. If it comes in the body of the email, you can copy and paste it into a spreadsheet. that's thankfully a little bit easier. But if it can't be handily moved into a spreadsheet or only comes in PDF format, ChimpKey is a good solution, although there is a cost associated with that. All right, are there any more cost related questions? Or sorry, cost invoice related questions there? Or any questions, we can handle any sort of Flxpoint questions that you guys might have during this call. Awesome, guys. Well, it looks like that's it for this week. As always, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Justin will be back in next week. I was filling in this week for him as he's at a trade show representing Flxpoint. So we will be back on with regularly scheduled webinars with Justin starting next week. I might continue to hop in and start helping you guys out a little bit more. Jordan, I will get you an answer to that question, and I'll get the solution in place so that we can do that. But thank you guys, and if anyone needs anything, feel free to reach out. We're always here to help you out. Bye-bye.